Good afternoon, everybody. For my lesson plan for this class, I decided to focus on a topic that has perplexed me both as a history student and as a future history teacher. How can I teach the Thanksgiving story to high schoolers from a non-biased perspective? Going off of the experience from my previous lesson plans, I decided to make a lesson plan where the students will create their own Mayflower compacts. There will be three standards covered in this lesson plan. The first, SS 9 through 12 H2, analyze and change continuity across historic eras and identify what perspectives have typically influenced how historic eras are constructed. The second, SS 9 through 12 H7, identify and analyze the role of individual groups and institutions in people's struggle for safety, freedom, equality, and justice. The third, SS 9 through 12 H13, analyze multiple and complex causes and effects of events in the past. Elements of Bloom's taxonomy and Lev Vygotsky's social culturalism will also be applied to this lesson plan. Learning objectives. The students are expected to have a basic understanding of the Thanksgiving story. Students are expected to memorize information given in the slideshow and take notes. Students are expected to properly identify politically correct terms such as Wampanoag and separatists. Students are expected to debate and discuss a new Mayflower Compact, which includes considerations of Indigenous people with their classmates. The first 5 to 7 minutes of this lesson plan will be teacher-centered learning, where the teacher will show a short YouTube video explaining what the Mayflower Compact is. Next, the teacher will explain the assignment details, then divide the students into groups. The next 30 to 35 minutes of class will be student-centered learning. Students will use their Chromebooks to then look for ideas in a database provided by the National Museum of the American Indian for what provisions they will have in their Mayflower Compacts for Native Americans. One student will be elected as the scribe to write down a rough draft of the group's Mayflower Compact. The last 5 to 7 minutes of class will be teacher-centered learning again, where the teacher will have an exit slip for the students to complete and turn in at the end of class via Google Classroom. The question being, why do you think it is important to include the Wampanoag Indians in the Mayflower Compact? There are two types of formative learning in this lesson plan. The first being the group activity. The second being the exit slip at the end of class. There will be one form of summative assessment the following day. Each group will present their Mayflower Compacts to the class. Differentiation instruction. The instructions for the assignment will be printed in the appropriate native languages for ESL learners. Translators can also be called in to explain directions for the assignment. If any students are deaf, then a translator will be called in to do ASL. Students who might be blind will have the instructions printed in Braille. For students with 504 plans, accommodations can include, but are not limited to, having designated readers help them with the instructions, using a word processor or type notes, and to have students sit closer to the teacher. Given evidence that the lesson was a success, there was lots of group interaction and a lot of collaboration. The students asked lots of questions. All the students turned in their exit slips. Each group was passionate and enthusiastic about why their Mayflower Compact was the best. Some considerations to make for lesson plans in the future is to have a native speaker come and talk about the Native American perspective of Thanksgiving for the class to hear.